Hey everyone, Phil from 3D UK here. So today we are unboxing the Kywoo3d Tycoon Max. This has been kindly sent over from Kywoo3d to review. It's not a paid review, so everything that you see today will be totally my opinion on this machine itself. As you all know, anyone who subscribed to my channel, this is my first official brand supplied printer. Everything that I've ever reviewed on my channel has either been kindly sent over by the Real Sam Apprentice or purchased by myself. So over here we've got the X1 Carbon, Bamboo Labs. Check out my video on that, the Kywoo Max. I've got plenty of videos on this as well. Lots of helpful guides. So go through all my videos. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And let's get straight over to the unboxing of the Kywoo Tycoon Max. So quite a sturdy box. The box is very, very big. It's about the same size box as the Kywoo Max. So let's get straight into it. So my desk is not as sturdy as some of the YouTube review channels. Still building up my studio, so bear with me if you see the desk wobble. So what you will be greeted with is you will have the top layer. Now, from looking online, the top layer actually has the glass plate in there as well. So when you're doing the unboxing and you're building this yourself, do be aware that as soon as you open it up, the glass plate is actually sellotaped at the back. So I'm just going to show you some pictures of that. So as you lift it up, you'll see that the glass plate drops. Now, bearing in mind it's glass, I'm not quite sure why they put that upside down in there. As you see from my demonstration, the glass plate dropped onto the metal plate there, so straight away potentially that could have caused some damage. Now fortunately it hasn't, from what I can see. Let's put this phone to one side. So when you open it up, you will be greeted with, as I said, the glass plate. So this is very much like the Kywoo Max. You'll get a protective seal on it. Lots of people prefer to swap this out to the flexi plate. It's probably something I'll do in the future, but as this review is basically around what's supplied in the box. So let's put that to one side safely. Okay, so in here you will receive a Kywoo envelope. It's just a thank you really. So hi friend, welcome to the Kywoo family. Thank you very much for choosing Kywoo. Your support means a lot, and as a new startup business, this is highly competitive market. We cannot achieve this goal without you guys helping us out. So it's like a really nice, just like a gesture to say thank you for purchasing their printer. But in my case, it was supplied by Kywoo3d to promote on my channel. Like I say earlier on in the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Just takes 2 seconds to like, give a thumbs up, leave any comments in the comment section, and subscribe to my channel. It's growing really quick, and without all your support, I can't do these type of unboxings and to bring to the community. Now, today's video is going to be around about unboxing, building, and maybe a quick test print. Any further videos that I bring out on this will be about the quality, any type of Cura settings, slicer settings that I can bring to the community to help out. It's pretty much what I did with the Kywoo Max. I did the initial unboxing and then slowly brought to the community like how-to guides and good fixes. I think any review channel tends to focus mainly on the unboxing, the build, and maybe a couple of test prints, and then you never see anything from that printer again. For me, on my channel, I'm going to bring the unboxing, the build, and further videos about how-to guides, how to fix if there's any issues. So if you like it, like I say, thumbs up. So you will be greeted with like the initial thank you card, and then this really nice instruction manual, which is a nice glossy manual, so I really like that. The content is in multiple languages, which is also really good. You'll start off on the left hand side in English and then in Chinese on the right, and then it tells you in both languages what each of the features are on the printer itself, the bed. So these are the two sections of this build. In there, your parts list, so you'll have the body of the printer, the base frame, the filament holder, the binder clip for the bed, power cord for your country, glass bed as I showed you earlier, and a quite generous amount of filament, so 200 grams of filament. I like that more than say the little, I don't know what it normally is, about 50 grams, it's not even that. Scraper, USB and a wrench, cable ties, spare limit switch, a spare nozzle, PTFE tube, USB cable, some snips, and you've also got a slotted screwdriver, nozzle cleaner, some feet as well, adjustable feet, belt tensioner springs, which is a really good addition. I've not really seen that in some of my builds. Like I said, 4 bolts, 4 times M5 times 25 mil, and we've got a selection of Allen wrenches which we'll need as well. Next page is just the assembly guide, which from what I've seen online is very simple, but we will follow the instructions because that's what we should all do. How to set up, where to put the clips, etc., and then your first sort of view of the screen interface and what you're expected to see. Like I say, I'll take some pictures of those and add them into the video, just really showing you how to cut the filament at a 45-degree angle, which helps with the loading through the Bowden. Okay, so sorry, not Bowden, it's direct drive. And then just some really useful guides on like what's an acceptable first layer, which I really like that, because not all instructions give this sort of level of detail. And remember that not everyone in the community has ever done this type of thing, so this could potentially be new to them, and this might actually limit the amount of times that they contact the community for that particular question. So I like that. Start printing, how to, and stuff like that. We're also going to check the firmware on this, and I will also set up Wi-Fi printing in a separate video. Like I say, I'm going to do a number of different videos for this, which will help. And it also shows the mainboard information, which I really like, because that's some questions that I've seen online. People asking questions about, oh, does anyone have a detailed explanation of the mainboard, where everything goes, especially if it's cut out and failed, and Kywoo3d in this case sends you out a new mainboard. You can take the board out and replace it knowing exactly where everything is. So I really like that. That's brilliant. I was going to take some pictures of that as well in the video, so that should come up now. And then it will give you a flow diagram of any troubleshooting, any issues that you might come across, which potentially could happen. So this particular user manual, instruction manual, is very detailed. I like the colour, I like the gloss to it. It's going to last a while. This type of thing, really do keep this. If anything from this whole box, apart from the printer itself, really things like this is something that you could go back to if you're having issues. Maybe take it back to stock and see where you are, because sometimes if you tinker too much, you can change things to the point where it's no longer working as intended. So I'm a firm believer that if it's not working, take it back to stock, start again, and make slight changes. But yeah, okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go over to the rest of the unboxing. So what we have here, okay, let's get on with the rest of the unboxing. Inside the box you also have the power cable that's appropriate for your country, in my case for the UK. So put that to one side as well, and we can remove this next layer. So it's very well packaged. As I said, a 200 gram of white filament, which is really good. I appreciate the fact that they've sent that. It's good for some test prints. I have plenty of filaments, but you know, the fact that they've supplied it's factory sealed as well, that's ideal. And inside the box we have, which seems to be quite well pushed in. There we go. So we have the accessories box, and in that box we should have the standard expected. So inside the accessories box you have a spatula, you have some snips, which are really ideal, a USB cable to connect up to the PC, but it is Wi-Fi enabled. You have some Allen keys, which we will need for the build, a small wrench, and we have the nozzle cleaner, quite sharp, so take care with that one. And in here we have some cable ties just for cable management. It's always good to have those. There's probably alternatives on websites like Thingiverse, but to begin with we'll use the stock supplied. A small screwdriver. We also have a limit switch, which is good, and we have 1, 2, 3 and 4 bed clips to connect up the glass bed. So we'll put that over here as well. So all of these we're going to need for the setup itself. And last few items, a USB, also with a small micro SD. Now this particular printer, the Kywoo3d Tycoon Max, takes a full-size SD and a micro SD, so I really like that feature, and it's also Wi-Fi enabled, so the opportunities for different functions are there. And then we have the 1, 2, 3 and 4 bolts for the connection of the frame to the bed. Like I say, it says in the manual that it's 4 bolts and you're done, but it's actually 4 bolts, and the if you take into consideration you're adding the spool holder, you're still at. Last few items are the belt tensioners and a spare nozzle, but we don't really need those right now. Okay, so the next step for this is to take out the main body of the printer. Now it's going to be quite cumbersome, so what I think we should do is take out the whole thing in its polystyrene, and then move this box out of the way, and we can start making some progress with this build. So like I say, well packaged. I really like the packaging. They've done a really good job with that. I think something like this needs to be protected in transit. I've seen quite a lot of cases where these companies don't use enough packaging, and when you finally receive your printer, it's not really in the state that you were hoping, especially if you paid an extremely quite a lot of money for it. So as you can see, so that's everything out of the box itself. And what you have is lots of rubbish at the end of it. What you have is the box shape of the main frame. Really like the handles on top, especially if you want to move it around. And inside you have the direct drive here, and okay, so now we're going to connect up the main body to the bed, and the easiest way to do that is to turn this to this angle here and then slowly place this through, remembering you have some cables under here, so try not to pinch those. We need to make sure that they're clear. Slide this under. Actually, before we do that, let's actually wind the Z up, just so that the nozzle is clear of the bed and we don't get any scratches. So just gently do that. We're not connected up to the main, so just gently do it like so. The easiest way, there is actually a belt, a timing belt at the bottom. You could do it that way if you choose, but I prefer just to use the actual motor itself. I think that's clear enough now. What we are going to do now is place the bed. Now there is a particular way. The motor needs to be at the back, so the motor that you see here, the bed, needs to be at the back of the machine. So we're going to carefully place that over. So under here you have the bed cable, and you have the limit switch and the Y as well. We've got the Y cable, and they're actually all in different sizes, so you won't be able to make any mistakes. We've connected that up, I wouldn't have thought. Probably the famous last words. And what we have now to do is to try and connect up these bolts. And the easiest way that I've seen is to slide it sideways and gently place it on the edge of a desk. Okay, so we're going to connect up the bed now. So what we're going to do, let's move the bed out of the way, and we're going to turn it on its side like so. I think that might be the easiest, and then we can actually see where the screws actually match. Now it is important to remember that the bed motor goes at the back, which is the switches for these, which is the Y. And I'm going to place it through carefully like so, and then we have the bolts which we're going to match up. So this is slightly more awkward than what it suggests, which is balancing it on the edge of the bed or on the edge of your desk, whichever you're using. But in my case, I'm going to do it a slightly less conventional way, only because it's not the easiest of tasks, if I'm honest. Leave a comment in the comment section if you think I'm doing this completely wrong. I don't mind. I don't think there's ever a right and wrong way, but there's always a wrong way. But say I would start with the top, don't do it fully, and then we've got this one here. Once I've got the top two on, then it's going to be a little bit more stable. I won't tighten them all up until I've got all four in. I always think that it's best to have you know, the main four in to begin with. So we've got this and the last two, which now I don't have to hold the bed at the same time, should be slightly more easier. You may just have to find out where it is and adjust it. There we go. You'll feel a bite on the bolt, like so. And then we've got the last bolt here. Goes in like so. So like, best way to do this now is to tighten up each corner. So start in this corner now that we've got all 4 in. So nice and tight so we don't have any wobble. So, and then go to this corner, tight. Then this corner, nice and tight. And then the last corner over here. Now, before we go ahead to turn this over, we want to start connecting some of these cables here. So let's start with the easiest and most obvious. So you've got the black connection cable here. I'm guessing is the temperature sensor. Just clicks in, wait, listen for the click. And then the other one, you're not going to make a mistake because the actual shape's appropriate to make sure that you put these 2 ends correctly. Make sure that that's connected like so. Just push fit. That doesn't click, that one. Just make sure that it's free of anything, it's not going to catch on anything. And then we're going to connect up the last few. So we have one for the motor here, which let's try and get a little bit more on that. So it doesn't really give you that much flex, if I'm honest. So what I might actually do is just cut that cable just to allow a bit more flex on the cable. That seems very tight for me. I'm just going to snip that. We do have some spares, so there's no big worry about that. And now I've got plenty of room. I can re-cable tie that if needed, and that pops in nicely. And then this other one is for the limit switch on the other side. So let's put that. So let's see if that can go in without too much flex. No, that's fine, that one. Just make sure that you're putting it in the right way and listen for the click. So once again, we are good to go. So as you can see, that's the main body and the bed, and there's only 3 connections. So you've got the limit switch, you've got the power for the heat bed, and then you've got the Y motor, and that's it. And then 4 bolts, so 2 this side, 2 that side. I found it a lot easier to do that. Everyone's going to have different ways of doing it. That's my way. There's no right or wrong way as long as you do it the safe way. And what we're going to do now is go to the main part, which is to add power and make sure that my power rating is correct. Okay, so this is the power rating section. Now, like I say, I'm in the UK, so it's 230. Every other country is different, so definitely make sure that whatever country you're in, before you turn on the power or connect up the cable, make sure that your rating is selected correctly. I can't confirm what ratings for every other country, so please do not choose 230. This is for the UK that I'm aware of. Anywhere else, please check your own and do that before you go onto any steps that connects up power. You are likely to fry your motherboard if you're not careful. Okay, so we're going to go up and connect up the power cable now. Okay, so we've got the power cable. We've done the selection for the power rating for my country, and we're just going to unravel this. And we're going to connect up some power. As you can see, the power unit is at the back, slots in quite nicely. We're going to turn this round, face the camera, like so, and then we're going to connect up the power. And hopefully, there won't be any issues with that. So let's go. So we have the power connected, and we have the moment of truth. I'll still need to connect up the spool holder, but we can do that at any time. And before we click on the power, we're going to put on the bed. So let's do that. Like I said earlier, there's a protective seal on the bed. Make sure you remove that. And before you do any print, just give the bed a bit of a wipe. It's going to have some factory dust on there. You don't want it to affect your first layer. And fairly easy, just connects up nice and square like so. Have your Kywoo3d sign at the front so that it looks good. And your bed clips are going to be on the front and the back. So with the bed clips, they're crocodile clips, so all you do is you flip both handles back like that, so then it acts as the clamp. So you do that with all three, or four, sorry. I would suggest doing the back first. All you have to do is make sure your bed's square. Put the first clip on like so. You can adjust it and then make sure that the other side is square. You can always adjust it while only the two are on. Final two, flick the handles like so. Do the other side. Nice and easy. I'm going to change the bed at some point to a flexi plate, a PEI sheet, but for now we're running stock. Bit of ASMR. Let's peel the screen back. Maybe not. That didn't actually peel. So I got a tab, not quite sure what that was all about, but oh well, no ASMR today. That's the one thing with printers, packaging after trying to get rid of that. I've still got the Bamboo Labs box there. Wanted to keep it just in case I had any issues with it. Beautiful machine. Check out my reviews on that. The Kywoo3d Max, still got the box for that as well. Okay, so we're going to refer to the manual again. So let's make sure that we're doing everything step by step. So we've installed the base, we've installed the limit switch, we've changed the power rating. It's asking me to connect up the filament holder. Let's do that. Let's just do everything exactly as the instructions tell me to do. So what we've got here, just connect up this. So this was actually loose in the bag, so always double check that all your packaging is empty, because not everything's always in the right place. So these just clamp onto the actual frame itself. I would go, it's saying to go fix the filament holder in the top profile, then tighten up the T-rod nuts into the holder. Okay, so you slide these sideways, and where are we? Where would be the best place? I'm going to go for here, and then the spool holder will be over the top, and then feed it into that itself. You know, I can change it if I've not done it right. It's not actually very clear in the document as to where you're supposed to do it. And we need a 3mm Allen key to tighten that up. So let's just do that. So we can always move it. There's no specific area that it has to be. We can always change it. It's nice and tight there anyway. No issues with that. And then the spool holder itself is just a lock and twist. So once it's onto this behind here, you can just lock on and then locks into place. Let's get the filament unraveled and cut. So we'll use that as our ASMR. Air hiss. I do like the fact that they've supplied a bigger spool. potentially can do all of the files that are likely to be on the SD card. That's the plan anyway. You never quite know what you're going to receive in terms of an SD card. So we'll put this to one side, but it's going to sit on here like so, feed down into the top of the head itself, straight through the filament sensor into the direct drive and out through the 0.4 nozzle. Like I say, in future videos we'll take this apart, go into a bit more detail as to whatever's here, but today it's just about the actual build itself. Okay, so in the instruction manual it says that binder clips need to be, okay, it's actually saying the binder clips need to be on the side. Okay, so take that back, not front and back, left and right. Let's do it all by the book because we don't want any issues. There must be a reason for that. I know on the Cobra Max, if you put it on the sides, it potentially fries the circuit on the heat bed and then you end up with a useless heat bed. Okay, so what we're going to do now is asking me to flick the switch. And around the back you have the power cable. So we can hear something going on. Hopefully. Something's happening. And we have the board and the main screen here. Like so. Okay, so what we have here on the board is we have the nozzle current temperature, the bed current temperature, the fan speed, we have the X, Y and Z current placing. You have whether there's a SD card in there, 100% printing speed, that's your flow rate, so you can adjust that, your settings, adjust the off access and just their logo at the bottom, and then the current time, so I guess that's for when you're printing, so I do like that. So that's the screen interface itself. So it's saying here click plus or minus or drag slider to adjust the nozzle. Click drag slider to adjust the bed. So that's, so what you can do, let's go into the settings. You've got so you can, so this is the nozzle temperature here, so you can just press minus or plus, or you can drag it, which I really like that, less cumbersome. Let's put that back down to 0, and you can do the same with the bed, drag it if you want that on. So this bed goes up to 140 degrees, but we don't need that. And then you've got the fan speed, so you can change that as well. Let's put it on, see if it kicks in, see how loud it is. And you can hear it kick in. Let's turn that back off. So I do like the slider on that. That's a really, really good feature. So, and then you've got flow as well. So the flow is on this side, so you can increase the flow of filament. So that's great. And then you've got this print speed. So that's great. On here, you've got, so you click on the little SD card image. Right now it's not in there, obviously, so there's nothing to see. So what we're going to do now is we're going to put the SD card in and see what's showing. Okay, so what you're supplied with is a USB and SD card. Doesn't come with the full size SD card, but as you can see, there's an SD card slot here, full SD card, and then a micro, and then you've got your USB cable slot there. So we're going to put in what was supplied. I'm guessing that it's face down, so it's quite a decent disc, not as generic as I've seen. Let's just see whether that's any good though. So it is gold strips up. Push that in, hear the click, and you'll hear that something is going on there. So on the screen, let's go back. We click on the SD card. So it actually shows up subfolders. Now on a lot of the 3D printers it doesn't show subfolders, which is quite a surprise. So you've got the instruction manual. Now bearing in mind you're not going to be able to actually see what's on there. You've got the slicing software, so these are all things that you can use once you get it all connected up to your printer. It's giving you all the stuff that you need. It also gives you some installation video, how to put it together, a model file and a Wi-Fi description, and then auto bed leveling test, Wi-Fi and bird whistle, a ghost. So it actually tells you how long each one's going to take as well. So that's really good. I like that. So now what we're going to do is it's asking me to move axis screen. So we are going to move axis screen, click corresponding icon. So here, so to get onto the function to home all screens, you've got the XYZ box in the middle. It's not that obvious, but if you just click on it and then press the home screen, it's like most 3D printers. You'll hear that everything's kicking into place. This is a good opportunity to see where everything's moving. So the bed's moving forwards. The X, Y and Z are now kicking in. You hear that the Z's quite noisy, but bearing in mind when you're printing it's going to be 0.1, 0.2, 0.3 movement, so you're not going to hear that whining unless you're doing like a full revolution from top to bottom like it's doing now. I like the fact that the cables are all clear. It doesn't look like there's going to be any entanglement. So right now we're homing all the axes. Okay, so that's everything that's home now. So that's what we wanted to do. That gives you an early indication that everything's functioning as intended. So that's really important to do that. The next step is setting page. Click on the settings page. So we're going to go back, click on here and change filament. So it's asking me to change the filament. Now we're dealing with PLA. So let's click on the PLA. So it's waiting for a filament change, so it brings itself to a certain point. Insert filament and press button to continue. So right now it's heating the nozzle. That's all we need. It won't do the bed, it's just the nozzle. It's heating up to 200 degrees. So what we're going to do, as I said earlier, you want to make sure that the filament that's supplied, let's take that off. It's a bit, I'm not too sure about the actual filament, the raveling, seems a bit of an entanglement there. I don't think that that's the greatest of filaments to work with. It looks really coiled up there, and but anyway, let's go. So 45-degree angle, cut. Let's put that aside. Reload it up at the top, like so. Make sure we don't lose the end, which doesn't take much. There we go. So what you want to do is click level when you've homed all the axes. When you click level, it's actually doing the bed test now. So it's going to do a 25-point bed test. So 5 across, 5 down. And we're going to wait for that to go. And then I'll come back once it's completed. Okay, so the bed level's been carried out now. So what we want to do is change the filament. So press on the arrow to back up and press settings and then change filament. So We're going to preheat PLA. It's just going to take it into a position where we can do that. So it's saying insert filament and press button to continue. So we'll wait for it to heat up. It's only at 60 degrees at the moment. And what it does is it raises the nozzle about, I don't know, about 5 centimetres off the bed, so enough room to be able to actually put that in there. About 105, so it's quite slow in comparison to the Bamboo Labs. The Bamboo Labs preheats the bed and the nozzle super quick. Like, I don't know, the bed takes about 20 seconds, 30 seconds, and the nozzle even less. It's so quick. But this isn't too bad. We're about 150 degrees now, so we're getting there. Okay, so what I decided to do to actually load the filament was just to preheat the nozzle. So you just click on the nozzle, and I've put it to 205 degrees. And then we're going to just manually load it. So at the front you've got this twisty knob that actually helps you load it through. So what you want to do is feed it through the filament sensor, like so, all the way through. It's a bit awkward when it's on a spring. You'll hear it click. Make sure it goes through safely, and then into the direct drive. And then when you feel it sort of come under a bit of tension, you can twist anti-clockwise, like so, and you'll feel it starting to drag. So that's the way that you can do it manually. And then once you see the filament coming out from the nozzle itself, just do it gently, don't force it. You'll start seeing the filament, so as you can see, it's starting to feed through, and I think that should be fine. So take that away, we don't need that. Okay, so we've changed the filament, but we did it the manual way. I seem to have some issues with changing the filament via the software. It kept going into alarm, so I'm going to have to look into that. I don't know whether that's a common problem. Leave some comments in the comment section if that's happened to you. So we need to change filament automatically. So we've done that, we've done it manually. So home and auto level all the bed, so we've also done that. Everything's done in terms of that. So the next bit is to preheat the bed as well. So we're going to go to, let's go to 60. So once again, we use a slider, 60 degrees, press OK. We'll wait for the bed to come on. And then it's saying adjust the Z offset, insert the SD card, print, choose auto leveling test. So it does like a bed level test. So I think that's a good idea before going into anything, to make sure that all of your settings are completely right. So while that's preheating, we'll go away and make sure that heats up okay, and continue with the video. Okay, so the temperature is around about what we need it for the print. So what we're going to do is click on this print here, press on the file, and we're going to go to model file, the only thing is I would suggest that when you finally use this, just take off the files and save it onto your computer, so that it doesn't confuse the actual printer. Having all these additional folders just confuses it. It's not important for when you're printing. So it's saying now to carry out a auto leveling test, which we did, and then to start printing. So we're going to choose which file to go with. What else have we got? Okay, so we're going to choose the auto leveling test G-code. So just click on that. Do you want to print? Yes. So it's going to start activating that, and we can check the Z offset while it's printing. So if it's too high, we can adjust it. So you can, on here it says to lower the nozzle when the nozzle is too close from the hot bed and the filament cannot be extruded, click raise the nozzle. And I think you can do it just by doing it here. So you've got the probe Z offset, but we can go through that as we once we actually start printing. Okay, so it's about to do something. So you just assess it as it's going down. Seems to be okay at the moment. And you should only have to make some fractional changes to this. So what it's doing right now is just layering out of the whole of the bed really, and just this is a great guide as to whether you've got any issues with your leveling. It seems to be perfect to me. It's not lifting, there's no squish. That probably didn't stick so well. It could be that I haven't actually cleaned the bed like I said earlier on in the video, so that's a fault of my own. You can adjust it if required. It's not too bad. So this side potentially could be greasy, so we'll have a look at that once it's done. So we can probably adjust the offset a little bit on that side. This is a good little test really to see where we stand. Let's pull that away and get a better understanding as to what we're getting. Yeah, it seems to be this side, so this side's sticking really well. We can adjust it anyway, so we can go down a little bit if needed. Press OK. That seems okay to me. Just let that go through its full sequence. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean the bed. I think that would be my best option. And it's also good to check that everything's working as intended, just to make sure you've not missed any settings or any connections or anything like that. And like I said in the instructions manual, it actually gives you a detailed guide as to what's acceptable. So the top one is too high, so lower it down. That one's perfect, and this one's squishing, so you get like a drag and almost blocking the nozzle. You can plus or minus the Z offset. So any changes that you make to that, click store settings, that will save it into the memory. And once this is completed, we'll start a print and leave it to print away and come back and see how it looks. Okay, so what we're going to do now that we've done the bed level test, everything's set up, we are going to do a functional print now. So scroll down on the screen, let's go for the ghost, let's give that a go. We'll whack that on, it's put the temperature of the bed on, and then we'll just time lapse that and see how it comes out in about half an hour, I reckon. So we can give that a go. And that's the build of the Kywoo3d Tycoon Max. Leave some comments in the comment section, and don't forget to like and subscribe. thank you to Kywoo3d for sending this over for a review. Anything that I come out from this is totally my own opinion. I haven't been paid for this video, apart from being sent the Tycoon Max for review. Okay, so over to do the ghost print, see how that comes out at the end. Okay, it seems to have come out really well, very well stuck down. May have some issues trying to get that up. Actually, no, that wasn't too bad. So looking at the bottom, don't seem to have any issues with the lay height or the Z height. I think the bed leveling test at the beginning really helps with that. That's come out really well. I'm happy with that. Everything seems to peel off really well. So the overall build of it was fairly simple. Not entirely sure why it kept kicking into alarm for the automatic filament feed. It seemed to just go into alarm. It did it 5 times, so it wasn't something I was doing wrong. So I went in and done the manual feed. I tend to do that on most of my printers anyway. What does make it easier is the fact that you've got this wheel at the front, so you can actually move the filament in by hand. So I really like that. It's a great feature. The UI of it's a bit clunky, if I'm really honest, in comparison to sort of other brands such as Anycubic and Creality and my Bamboo Lab. The screen UI is really delayed, very clunky, like I say. It's not too bad. The other thing I would check is what actually is the UI of this. I know there was some firmware updates. This comes straight from the factory, so I don't know whether we've had any updates on it. I'm not entirely sure, so I'm going to do some bigger prints on it and I will report back how I get on with that. From the initial test, it seems really well, does the job it's intended to do, like the fact that you get a 200-gram filament roll. The handles, the build is really solid. The plate I do like, but I will probably change that in the future. The linear rails is really good feature. Say that the actual size of it isn't too big in terms of if you think that this is called the Kywoo Tycoon Max in comparison to the Cobra Max bed at the back. It's not that big, but still perfect for what if you require something of this size. It will still do some decent prints. Like I say, the filament sensor at the top and the direct extruder is a great feature. Certainly helps with retraction and perfect prints. But overall, yeah, it's a very nice printer, very solid. The premium case is certainly makes it a worthy purchase. So don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel, and like I say, I'll bring some more prints as to how this performs over the next few weeks, and also some helpful guides such as setting up the Wi-Fi. I'm going to download all the files that are on the SD card and make some sense of Cura profiles, so if I've got anything that I can share with the community. And that's Phil from 3DP UK. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Every little helps, and keep those views up. Take care, everyone. It's Phil from 3DP UK.